The questions that I received for today's podcast brought me back 4 years ago when I was lying on the kitchen floor and I was terrified. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I was in horrible chronic pain, and I turned to my sister and I said, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I am telling you this because I'm out of chronic pain now, and the two questions for today's podcast are kind of back to the basics, and yet there is a part of them that those of you who are already on the journey of healing are going to need to heal, or are going to need to hear in order to heal, because TMS is tricky. So, I am no longer on the kitchen floor. I'm out of chronic pain, and I want the same for you. I see you. I know where you are, and it's scary, but you're going to be okay. So I'm going to answer the questions really briefly, and then I'm going to get into more detail here in a minute. But TMS is tension myositis syndrome. It means that it's psychogenic. That means your brain is creating the real symptoms in your body. It is responsible. Psychogenic means your brain is responsible for creating real symptoms in your body. What kind of symptoms can TMS cause? That is basically the answer to the question, what kind of symptoms can the involuntary nervous system create, which is almost everything. So stay with me. If you're skeptical, keep going. If you're a newbie, this is definitely a podcast you're going to want to listen to. If you're seasoned, you're going to want to hear this too, because I'm going to share the pitfall in what a lot of people do in their healing journey and how you can avoid it. I've been wanting to introduce basically a practice of 5 seconds of slow in my podcast. So I want to take a second before we get going to just allow yourself the time to calm down. Whatever you're doing, whether you're cooking or you're doing chores or you're just sitting around, allow peace. Breathe in rest. We have to teach our nervous systems to rest. I am Jen Johnson. This is Thought by Thought Healing. I'm a chronic pain coach, and I help people to understand the mind-body connection from a Christian perspective and to reverse their chronic symptoms. Okay, let's talk about these in detail. Okay, let's talk about what is TMS. And Dr. John Sarno, he passed away in the year 2017, and he believed that symptoms are psychogenic, meaning the brain is responsible for them, and the brain decides how you individually are going to handle stress differently than how I will handle stress. He believed that the brain produced pain in order to distract you from your unconscious emotions. And I agree with him on this, except for a slightly different, which I'll talk about later. He believed that they were all maintained through the autonomic nervous system, which we know to be true now with simple science, and that there was decreased blood flow and oxygen deprivation when that autonomic nervous system was activated. And so he helped his patients to see that rage was the underlying emotion behind what would be causing back pain. He specifically worked a lot with people with back pain, although there is, we now know that it's not just back pain, it's pain and all sorts of symptoms that we're going to talk about later. He wrote 4 books, and oftentimes people read Healing Back Pain and they actually have the book cure, meaning that after they read the book, they realize there is nothing wrong with their back. There is just extreme tension in their back, and that they are safe, and the way to healing is to move and use their back, and their back pain goes away. It's called the book cure. Most people do not have that healing. I most definitely did not have that quick of a healing, but it is, in fact, very powerful to understand that there's nothing wrong with your body. It's just the brain generating these symptoms through the autonomic nervous system when we are experiencing all these emotions. And although he believed that it was primarily rage, I just want to add that I believe it was primarily fear, rage, shame, disgust. All these things do create a fight or flight response, fight or flight or freeze and fawn response in our bodies that are physiologically, they represent a lot of different symptoms in our body, and that means there's nothing wrong with you. So that is the basic rundown of TMS. I hope that that's helpful. The bottom line behind this is that you are not broken. You are okay. And once I began to understand this and teach my body that I was safe and I was okay and work with those emotions, the pain went away. And here I am, pain-free, no longer on the kitchen floor. And so you might be asking, well, okay, how do I reverse my symptoms and how do we get you off the floor? And that is through pain reprocessing therapy, which I can't talk about in this episode, but I talk about it in a lot of different episodes. And now I want to talk about those of you who are on the journey and the mistake that people make. But first, let me tell you that I believe that the reason that I have maintained a life of not having chronic pain is because I understand this second concept, and that is the symptom imperative. And what that means is that I choose to trust that every single symptom that shows up for me, at first, I treat it like it's TMS, like it's not a big deal. I don't overreact to it, and I trust that my body will move through that symptom and that it will go away and that I'm going to be fine. The freak out, the go to the doctor, try to figure out what's wrong when it's just an underlying unconscious emotional reaction is unhelpful. And so I just remain calm and I just wait for the muscle spasm to end. I wait for the stomach ache to go away. I trust that my headache's going to be gone. I know that the stabbing in my calf is just TMS. And the fact that I don't give it much attention means that it lasts for just a very short amount of time. I don't want to put a time frame on it for you because it varies in length, but it is, when you do not make something a big deal, it is not a big deal. And it goes away quickly, and then you are safe and your body goes back into homeostasis. I did want to read a medical disclaimer. The information provided in this podcast is intended for general information purposes only and should not be considered as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical evaluation, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have read or received from this source. And that is important to know because if it is something that's from an injury or cancer or an infection, we do need to see the doctor, and I don't want to be encouraging you to ignore that important process. We need our doctors for those types of things. But when it is mind-body related, when it is TMS, doing the doctor search is actually going to make that stress response worse. So I see a lot of clients who chase other symptoms. They'll be finding healing in one symptom, and all of a sudden they'll have tooth pain, or they'll have little blurriness in the eyes, or all of a sudden their back will start hurting, or sciatica will show up. And these are all examples that are real examples for some of my clients. And now all of a sudden they're distracted by that thing instead of working through the emotional thing, and they are making a big deal out of it and giving it attention and worried that it is structural. And that starts that whole cycle again. If you view yourself like, I don't know, you take a cap off the top of your head and you dump in a gallon of stress, and you teach yourself that the chronic foot pain that you're experiencing is just TMS and it's fine, it's not a big deal, there's nothing wrong with your feet, and then the pain starts to go away with your feet, if you haven't stopped dumping the gallon of stress in the top of your head, it's going to show up in a different way, like gastrointestinal or stabbing pain in your face or tooth pain and all the things like that. Asking the question, what does the autonomic nervous system affect? Or how powerful is the brain? Or what does the involuntary nervous system do? Or what organs does the brain affect and control? Is a really simple Google search that will give you the exact same answers that I am giving you. This is nothing new that I'm telling you. We know that stress has a huge effect on the body, and I don't know why it is not the first and foremost thing that we hear in the medical system, but we don't. So here's some of the things that I got on a Google search today. Autonomic nervous system causes changes in blood pressure, heart and breathing rates, body temperature, digestion, metabolism, the balance of water and electrolytes, the production of body fluids like saliva, sweat, and tears. This can be dry eye, by the way. Urination frequency, defecation problems, sexual response, muscle tension. Other symptoms that it can cause are pain primary, meaning pain anywhere, from tooth to toe, tingling, tension, feelings of being hot, feelings of being cold, chronic fatigue, numbness, headaches, dizziness, insomnia, itching, burning, nerve pain, frequent urination, constipation, diarrhea, bloating, gas, spasms, you name it, you guys. It is crazy how many symptoms that stress and the autonomic nervous system can affect. And this is an area that you can really help your healing journey to go quickly, and that is to remain calm and to even slow down like we did in the beginning and allow your system to know you're safe, you're okay, you're going to be just fine. The symptom is going to go away and all is going to be good. Hope this is helpful for you guys. If you liked this video, share it, subscribe, give it a thumbs up. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram and check out my website, thoughtwithout.healing.com. All right, guys. Thanks, and I'll see you later. Bye.